welcome to Everything Fear. Today we're going to be looking at a lost classic from the 1980s, a British horror film called Dream Demon. Hello and welcome to Everything Fear, your one-stop shop for all things horror. I'm Kit Tinsley. I'm a horror author, film academic and general horror geek. If you enjoy this video, if you could please subscribe, give us a like and maybe tickle that bell icon to be notified of future content, that would be great, thank you. This episode is the first in a series of retro reviews. This is where I'm going to be looking at older films from the 60s, 70s, 80s or 90s that either I've never seen or that I haven't seen since I saw them for the first time 30 years ago. We're going to start today with something of a lost gem, a British film from 1988 called Dream Demon. Dream Demon is a 1988 British horror movie from a company called Palace Pictures. The story of Palace Pictures is fascinating in itself. A production company that rose from a distribution company that rose from a single cinema in the heart of London. It's an amazing story that's far too long to go into here, but if you're interested and have the time, then please look into the history of Palace Pictures and the Scala Cinema. It's fascinating stuff. Palace produced a lot of cult classics in the horror genre as well as other genres. Some of their most notable films are A Company of Wolves, Hardware, Scandal and The Crying Game. Dream Demon is one of their lesser known movies. It's one that I remember seeing the cover for in the video shops when I was a kid going to rent movies, but for some reason I never did rent this film and I've not seen it until the other night. I have to say that I was surprised because the movie was not at all what I was expecting from the title or the synopsis. I was expecting a low budget rip-off of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Which, to a degree, I suppose you could say this is, but it's also so much more than that. For a start, this movie is not a slasher movie. There is no single Freddy-esque monster in this film. The main similarity is the boundary between dreams and reality, but that's about it. Tonally and stylistically, the film has far more in common with Hellraiser, which came out the year before this film, than any other film I can think of. Though story-wise, there is no similarity to Hellraiser. In Dream Demon, a young woman is preparing to be married to a famous war hero. When two sleazy journalists and a young American woman trying to track down the memories of her forgotten childhood come into her life, they soon become embroiled in her nightmares, and her dreams begin to affect reality. What did I like about this film? The film has wonderful and very, very British cinematography. It uses lots of tight shots and weird angles. It's very reminiscent of the cinematography in some of the Hammer films of the 70s and films by Amicus. This adds a familiar but uneasy quality to the film. There are some wonderful performances, especially from Gemma Redgrave as Diana, the young woman who is plagued by nightmares, and also by Timothy Spall, who plays Peck, a sleazy and predatory photojournalist. The look of the film and the heightened performances, even in the scenes in the real world, make the film have this sort of surreal quality that really makes it interesting and also makes it very difficult to tell whether what you're watching is a dream sequence or the reality within the film. There's some great and surreal imagery within this film that's never explained. This gives the whole film a kind of dream logic quality rather than a straightforward narrative. In the same way that you don't question things that happen within a dream, they just happen. It's the same with this film. It's got a great central idea which basically boils down to people haunting themselves and how memories and fears can affect all aspects of our life, waking and sleeping. What didn't I like? Well, Some of the special effects in this film leave a little to be desired, although they're still often effective and shocking, but you can tell they didn't have the best budget for the special effects. The lack of real-world logic can sometimes be quite disorientating. Likewise, the strange camera angles, the surreal imagery and the heightened performances, even in the real world, can be quite jarring to begin with. Although as the film progresses, this becomes less of an issue and it all starts to make much more sense. In conclusion, this is a very weird and very inventive hidden gem of a horror movie. The movie would perhaps be lost completely to the sands of time if it were not for a recent Arrow Video Blu-ray restoration. There's a link to that Blu-ray in the description below. Although if you're interested, I know that if you have the Arrow Video channel added to your Amazon Prime in the UK, then you can watch the film on there. I highly recommend watching this film because it's something completely unique, really. Completely of its time, but very unique. Well, thanks for joining us. If you've seen Dream Demon, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And until next time, stay scared and stay tuned.